Ohio and 6 other states are pushing ahead with a lawsuit against a portion of the health care law. The suit challenges the mandate that employees must buy health insurance covering birth control. The states argue Americans with religious objections should not be required to pay for coverage of abortion drugs and birth control. Opponents of the mandate are hopeful it may be struck down. In Thursday's ruling upholding the health care law, liberal Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg wrote, quote here, "A mandate to purchase a particular product could be unconstitutional." Attorney Mark Renzi of the Becket Fund says that statement suggests the entire court may reject the mandate.
And for more on the ruling, we now turn to Jordan Sekulow of the American Center for Law and Justice. Now, Jordan, the president said that the penalty in the individual mandate is not a tax. The Supreme Court ruled that it is a tax. Explain what the court's reasoning means for the power of government to tax Americans.
Sure, I'll go to the dissent because I think that they looked at it pretty clearly for people. They said it's basically a judicial writing of a tax, and they have a lot of trouble with that. Instead of interpreting the statute, which is the job of the Supreme Court, they rewrote it. And why is that so key? Because the word tax means something in America. When there's going to be a tax hike and your elected officials are about to vote on that, it has serious consequences for you, your family, your employer, but also those elected officials, because they'll be known as raising your taxes, especially one like this, which applies to not just people who make $200,000 or $250,000 a year or more, but the middle class covers 75% of this tax hike. Now, before, if you called it a tax hike, those who supported the law said, oh, you're just making that up. This is a mandate and a penalty. The one thing we got out of the court yesterday in the majority opinion is that a mandate and a penalty are not going to be treated separately than taxes anymore. So at least for now, politicians won't be able to tell you that they're mandating something and penalizing you if you don't do it, but it's not really a tax. And that will be interesting to see how it plays out to the American people. They're the last chance to overturn this law now, to repeal this law.
Gotcha. Now, on a broader scope, what does this ruling mean for liberty in America?
Well, I think even though the mandate and penalty, that formula may be gone for now, 4 liberal justices totally agreed that under the Commerce Clause, the administration and Congress has this power. Only Chief Justice Roberts came up with this. The only way it survives is through the tax provision of the U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 1. And he got the 4 liberal justices to join him so that they would save the law. As Justice Ginsburg said, it survived unscathed. But she didn't agree with his reasoning. So we're at this kind of tipping point. Under his reasoning, though, current law, what Congress could start doing is saying, if you don't do this, you'll pay a tax penalty. So think of the endless issues where Congress look at whether it's health, food, clothing, what you use, what kind of heat you use in your house, what kind of car you drive. It's the same kind of ideas we were talking about, but what they could do is say, you're good if you have it, but if you don't follow what we're saying and you make a certain amount of money, you'll have to pay a tax penalty now. So again, this creates a new power for the federal government, not as broad as what the Obama administration wanted, but as of today, their law has survived.
Gotcha. Well, there are other challenges to the health care law. For example, lawsuits over the contraception mandate. Could any of those other challenges affect the law overall?
No. You know, what we saw yesterday, and I do want to make that clear, a lot of people ask, so is this it for all those challenges? And it's not. In fact, the only way the HHS mandate challenges and the contraceptive and abortifacient challenges, the abortion funding challenges, would have gone away is if yesterday the court overturned the whole law, so there was no need for those lawsuits anymore and legal battles. But the issues at the court yesterday were really the individual mandate, the economic function of the healthcare law. The other lawsuits that are moving forward, we've got one right now moving through the federal courts in Missouri. Those go full steam ahead. And listen, there's going to be a lot more issues within this law. It's a huge law, and we're just starting to see its full effect. So those lawsuits will continue, but to actually get rid of and to repeal this will take Congress and a new president, because obviously President Obama is not going to do away with his one piece of really signature legislation.
But what's the likelihood of Obamacare being overturned through Congress? Are the American people still as upset as they were back in 2010 when it first passed?
You know, yesterday people were shocked. I think everybody was taking a deep breath and trying to take it all in. I was shocked, and we were extremely disappointed with what happened with Chief Justice Roberts and the court and the decision. It was so close to getting this all overturned, but we move on. We fight another day. That's the American spirit anyways. I think this will fundamentally be a very important, if not the most important issue now going into the election, because it just became a top economic issue. President Obama, like it or not, just raise your taxes. And he may not like us saying that, but that's what the Supreme Court of the United States said. And I do believe you put all that together, you elect the House of Representatives would need to stay the same. There needs to be more Republicans in the U.S. Senate, and of course, a change in the White House. So you get those things, maintain the House, add some seats in the Senate, change the President of the United States, and you could have this law repealed by this time next year.
Jordan Sekulow, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.